Hi, Gary Gribble from Pope High School in Marietta, Georgia. This is part 2 of my Grammy application in the quarterfinals. Again, thanks for the honor. I'm going to talk a little bit out of order about these, and the video might run slightly over the 4 minutes. Just a little warning there because the outpouring of testimonials that came in. So I'm going to start with the impact on our school and community. I think one of the things that our program has become noted for is how our students respect the community. They carry themselves in a very mature manner, and we strive to give back to the community. So we're always out performing, we're out helping with community events. We have a Shop with a Greyhound event at our school. The Greyhound is our mascot, where we take students from some underprivileged areas of our county and do Christmas shopping for their families, and we always provide music for that event. We have hosted different groups that have traveled through our community so that they can feel a part of what we do. We have tried to spread the word about why we do what we do and our gift of music being shared so that everyone can enjoy it and appreciate it. Talking about advocacy in the community, we try to keep everyone apprised of what music does to help develop the total student. So when we perform at concerts, I'll take a moment in between selections and talk to the audience about something positive that music brings, something that their students are going to benefit from as a part of the musical experience. When I'm fortunate enough to travel and conduct honor bands or be at a music conference, I'll mention to the people there that it's just as important that we spread the word as it is we teach the music. Talking about significant and lasting contributions to music, I've been fortunate enough to be asked to write articles for professional magazines and journals. Did a master's thesis on successful teaching in the classroom, how to develop good teaching habits. And I've been able to travel and present clinics at a variety of workshops around the country. So I really feel like it's part of our role as a teacher is to prepare the next generation, to share our successes, to give people ideas of what they can do to gain the benefits and to reach their students in such a way that it's going to pass along and continue to grow through generations. So then we come to the measurable difference in the lives of students. That one is pretty amazing. I had no idea when I started teaching if I was going to be successful or not. And over the years, I've had a number of students who have continued as music educators. I think now there's over 30 that are band directors or music teachers. I've got dozens that perform, and many that are just great people who enjoy music, and they're good music advocates, not because they want to perform, but because they love the art of music making. When the Grammy nomination was publicized in our community, it made headlines in our newspaper, it was shared on social media, the testimonials started flowing in, literally got stacks of letters, emails, social media posts. So I'm going to share a few of those with you. One of our students wrote, "Mr. Gribble always encourages students to work hard toward their goals, and he's provided the resources and environment to do so." She came from another school. She was not in the feeder program, so she didn't know anyone when she came to our school. She rose rapidly through the ranks of the band program, became a drum major in the marching band, and is one of the most phenomenal students you would ever want to meet. And we provided her with that sense of belonging and family as she came in. Another says, "I could never have predicted the level of impact this organization's made on my life. Mr. Gribble was always wise enough to remind us that what we were doing in that classroom was bigger than just the classroom itself. We were learning the gift of a universal language." And that's what we try to convey to our students. What you're doing here is not just for the moment, it's for your future. One of our current 9th graders, a beginning student in our program, "I'm part of the family that Mr. Gribble's created. The family motivates students within to become better players, to be a welcoming and accepting community, and offer incredible experiences to his students. I know that thanks to this first year and Mr. Gribble's leadership, my knowledge will continue to grow and my love of music making me more mature as a musician and a person." One of our parents wrote in, said, "Not only does Gary Gribble teach these children about music, he teaches them about life and how to be successful. These children have gained an incredible role model and another person that really cares about their well-being." So that makes you feel good as a teacher, because often the parent communication that you get is not of that ilk. Our school principal, when she found out about the nomination, sent an email and said, "My greatest admiration of your talents and skills is the complete commitment to supporting your students. This was evidenced by every visit to your classroom, whether it was during class or not, and I was able to see your interactions with students. They simply love being in your room and interacting with you. Your dedication to your students is extraordinary. Please know that you have truly made the difference in the lives of your students, and that, my friend, is priceless. So coming from an administrator, that's quite an honor. Those words are much appreciated. My assistant director is a former student, so he's in a very unique position of having been a member of the program and now being a teacher in the program. And he wrote that Mr. Gribble's leadership helped us enjoy great success in a short amount of time in the band program. He had a wonderful ability to get the most out of his students while still making sure that we enjoyed the process. He had an amazing way of pushing us to work harder than we thought we were capable of working, while we all thought we were just having fun playing in the band. He continually teaches life lessons, molds his students into respectful adults with the right tools to be successful in life. Music was simply the vehicle with which he delivered those lessons, and the outstanding performances his bands gave were a byproduct. It feels great to know that your students feel strongly enough about this to continue on. And the last one is from a former student who has been a band director now for well over 20 years. And there's two parts to this. As a music educator, Mr. Gribble is a gifted teacher that has innate ability to bring out the best in his students. He's a mentor to all of us who are blessed, as well as to all of his students. I have seen him travel and work with numerous bands in our district and state, many times for no pay, just because he was asked and because he genuinely cares about music education and its students. Among the educators in our district, he's the person we look up to the most, because the example and method he employs on a daily basis is the model of an exemplary music educator. Mr. Gribble is an absolute master at helping his students develop the numerous skills that they will use throughout their lives, including self-confidence, leadership, the ability to work in a diverse group, listening, work ethic, and many more. He helps guide his students to become the best versions of themselves and is renowned for not giving up on his kids. The other part of this story, the terrible, terrible shooting in Chattanooga of the 4 Marines at the recruiting base a couple of years ago. Squire Skip Wells, was a lance corporal, and he was there in the recruiting office. He was one of the Marines, unfortunately, that was shot and killed. He had been a student in the neighboring band where my former student teaches. And we learned the news during our summer band camp time when we were in the biggest part of our preparation for our fall show. I immediately called and said, "What can we do? Do you need anything?" And he said, "We're fine. We'll work through it. It's a tragedy. We're all heartbroken, but we'll get through this." And I told my students we need to show them that we care, that we are a part of this band family and community that we like to talk about. So we made all the arrangements, got buses, we canceled our evening rehearsal, we went to their school to be a part of the memorial service. And it was a very moving evening for everyone involved. And about that, Mr. Esserwine writes, "I've known Gary Gribble for over 30 years, but this was the most selfless, most caring, and most appreciated gesture I've ever seen in my life as an educator. Whether he brought his students to show support for hours, or whether he brought them to teach them the value of a life, or whether he brought them to respect fallen heroes, the point is he went beyond music, beyond the performance stage, and created a moment that taught his students, my students, and our entire community the way we should all treat each other. He put aside the things his band needed to accomplish on a night during camp and taught all of us a lesson that was so much bigger. It was the definition of education and was just one example of the many amazing lessons Mr. Gribble has taught in his career." So when we talk about the measuring the impact, I think that's what you hope for. So again, I am so honored to be a part of this process. I thank you so much for this opportunity.